Chancellor K. Jackson, welcome back to the Apollo Papyrus podcast.
Hey, family, appreciate you having me back, man. Blessings and balance to you. Hope all has been well. Big shout out to everybody that's tuning in right now. Y'all the real MVPs.
Feel free to reintroduce yourself to our listeners.
For sure. My name is Chancellor K. Jackson, best-selling author, educator, coach, entrepreneur. Um, yeah, man. That's me in a nutshell.
Prior to our first interview, you wrote the books 14 Days in Beijing, You Live and You Learn, and Real Love Never Dies. And these were the focus of our first interview. Without spoiling too much about those books, what are those books about?
So 14 Days in Beijing is about my experience getting locked up abroad in China for 14 days. I was locked up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 15 minutes in one cell, 9 wooden beds, 3 soups a day, and all I had was a plastic bowl and a plastic spoon. Nothing was explained to me as far as how the process works, what my specific charges are, how long I'm going to be here. Nobody knows I'm here. And I'm pretty much in the cell with 14 other Chinese men, none of which I can talk to. So until one random day, which so happened to be day 14, they called my name to be released. So I'm here to tell y'all I did 14 days, and you'll get the gist of that as you read the book.
You wrote You Live and You Learn, and Real Love Never Dies before our first interview. Without spoiling too much about those books, what are those two books about?
So ideally, 14 Days in Beijing, You Love, You Learn, and Real Love Never Dies. It's a trilogy. So it's pretty much telling one long story. In a perfect world, You Love, You Learn should have been book number one because it dates back before I went to China. So it talks about me in college and my experience with love. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much a man's first step towards gaining emotional intelligence. So it talks about that. And then Real Love Never Dies is the second half of the story, but it also touches on me going to China. It talks about things I was doing in China prior to those 14 days. And then, of course, what took place after those 14 days. So all 3 books are just pretty much telling one long story. It's a trilogy, the Living Lucky series.
You've written a couple of books since our last interview, The Power of Becoming and L.I.S.T.E.N, that's an acronym. Without spoiling too much about those books, what are each of those books about?
So The Power of Becoming is a self-help book. I was inspired to write that based off my content that I produce. And my content is pretty much just posting quotes or reciting quotes on a regular basis. And so I dated back to late 2021 all the way to late 2024, just throughout all my content. And I just took different quotes that did the best analytic wise, or I just felt were powerful. And I noticed it was certain categories that, you know what I'm saying, the quotes fit under. So it's either a quote geared towards love, it's either a quote geared towards success, discernment, happiness, confidence, adversity, healing. So I was like, okay, this is how I'm going to structure the book. So pretty much it's a book full of just different quotes. And I take the quotes and I expand on them as well. And so you'll learn how to re-evolutionize your happiness, amplify your confidence, build an unshakable sense of self-worth. It help guide you through adversity, nurture healthier relationships, and allow you to become the best version of yourself. So had a successful launch. It's done pretty well. And then my latest book, Listen, is pretty much a transformational guide to writing and self-publishing and turning your story into a best-selling brand. We all have stories to tell, and my job is to help you or encourage you to share your story with the world. And the acronym LISTEN stands for leverage your story to create impact, inspire others with your truth, speak with clarity and confidence, transform your message into a manuscript, empower your readers and yourself, and navigate the entire publishing process like a pro. So it's pretty much, I just took my experiences with self-publishing and I put it into a small little ebook. It's like 15 pages, not even that long. It's very impactful though. And you'll learn how to, you know what I'm saying, go about the writing process, and then how to go about publishing it. But most importantly, I throw the marketing tips in on the back end, because if you don't market the book, then you know what I'm saying, it really won't do anything. So that's pretty much what that book's about too.
Okay, what are the seven pillars of growth and empowerment and the power of becoming, and how do they interact with each other?
So the seven pillars are love, success, discernment, happiness, confidence, healing, and adversity. These are all things that we are going to experience in life multiple times. And some people might not know how to go about certain love situations. And love is very broad. It could be from a romantic standpoint or just from a genuine platonic standpoint. Just, you know what I'm saying? Love. Discernment. Your life is full of decisions and choices. You are going to make decision choices. You made plenty of decisions and choices that got you this far. And you're going to continue to make choices as you continue to go on your journey. But just being able to have great discernment and know what's the more sensible or more wise decisions to make when it comes to just certain and different aspects of life. Um, Success, we are going to have success, but with success, we are going to face adversity at the same time. Being able to enjoy, not get too high, but not also get too low. You know what I'm saying? Stay right in the middle, be even keel. Um, have confidence in what you do and who you are. A lot of people lack confidence severely, and healing. We all we all need healing. We all been through different experiences, some more traumatic than others, but all in all, we're a society full of broken individuals. So being able to identify that, you know what I'm saying, recognize your flaws, and then work towards using them to help elevate you to become the best version of yourself. So, yeah.
What motivated you to write The Power of Becoming?
My content. So my content, I've been posting since 2021, consistently at least. I just post different quotes. And so I went all the way back. I scrolled all the way through my Instagram back to 2021 when I first started posting consistently. And I just went through and just grabbed different quotes that either did well analytic wise, or they just stuck out to me the most. And I just noticed every quote that I jotted down, it was geared towards something, just seven different common things. It's either geared towards love, either geared towards success, discernment, happiness, confidence, so on and so on. So I'm like, okay, so it's a common theme amongst my content. So that's going to be the pillars per se of the book.
Now, your listen book is very short. I think you only said it's about 15 pages. How long did it take you to write that book?
Ironically, I've been had this written for years now. I don't know, I guess I just held on to it, or I would send it to certain people if they were interested in the writing and publishing process. But I was inspired to actually publish it. And so I was like, okay, I did it. And I also created a course out of it as well. So the ebook is pretty much a funnel to the course. Now, the ebook is still impactful. You can get what you need from the ebook, but if you want a little bit more just structure or work to help get you through each process, or like just pretty much a coach, then I have a course designed to get you through the process as well.
Okay, regarding your listen course, how can anyone that wants to take the course access it?
It's available on my website. So if you Google my name, Chancellor K Jackson, everything you need will pop up. But you'll see my website in the links, CorlayPublications LLC.com. Go there and you go to my store on my website, and then you'll be able to access the course from there.
And as is standard practice, I include relevant links, including the links you just mentioned in the text description of the episode. But what have you learned about writing since first becoming an author that helped you with writing The Power of Becoming and Listen?
One is that, okay, I'm pretty good, at least at writing books. Writing was never anything that I was a fan of. I did often growing up. Even in school, I don't even recall having to do a whole lot of writing in school. It wasn't until I got to college that's when writing became like standard and regular, especially because my degree is communication and media studies. So that's a very writing intensive course. So it was a rude awakening. But it's always something geared towards school. That's the only time I wrote anything. It wasn't until I wrote 14 Days in Beijing and that had the success it did. And it's like, okay, you might be able to do this thing for real, for real. Well, clearly you can. But even then, after 14 days, I was like, I'm good. I don't really see myself needing to write anything or wanting to write anything. But as time progressed, that definitely changed because here we are, like 7 books in. Um, so it's just me having a successful 14 days that just kickstarted everything else. And a lot of people kept coming to me with questions, comments, concerns about writing and publishing because it surprised me how many people actually had aspirations and desires and dreams of becoming a published author. This was just an idea that was given to me. One of my great friends I grew up with, DeMarco Reddins, he the one that put the bug in my ear, like, hey, bro, you should write a book about, you know what I'm saying, what happened to China. I was like, oh man, that's a good idea. I'm saying I don't even know where to start, but that's a good idea. He took it even further. He took my phone from me, went to my notes section, left me a little outline. And I just started filling it in. By me doing that, I was like, okay, I caught a flow for how I wanted to go about writing in 14 days. So it was a history after that. So I'm pretty much just doing what he did for me for others. And that also, I knew it, and the last book I wrote prior to this year was Real Love Never Dies, which was in 2022, I want to say. So it was a huge gap between, you know what I'm saying, Real Love and The Power of Becoming. But once I knew I wanted to do something with my content, I knew I wanted to create a book. I just didn't know how I wanted to go about structuring it until one day I was trying to take a nap and it just came to me. Literally, I was trying to sleep and it just hit me. I'm like, oh man, this is exactly how we can go about the book. So yeah, I just took that idea and ran with it. And with Listen, I already had that in the vault. I was just inspired to publish it. So we are. And currently, right now, Listen is the top new release in business aspects. I've been leading the charts all week long. I dropped on the 21st. So yeah, we had another successful launch as well.
Okay. Now, regarding the power of becoming, is that book independently, traditionally, or hybrid published? I know Listen, if I recall correctly, is independently published because that's a very short book.
Yeah, all my books are self-published. I encourage people to take the self-publishing route because that's how I started and continue to publish. And I've done had success time and time again. So yeah, I got a nice little formula down pat when it comes to the self-publishing thing, for sure.
What are some advantages and disadvantages of self publishing, and what are some common mistakes that authors who go the self publishing route make, and how can they avoid them?
I say disadvantages is just not knowing how to go about self-publishing. That's the biggest disadvantage see amongst people trying to figure out just not knowing how to do that. But and it's gonna be a process. Your first time going through it, but that's why I created the course and the books and stuff to help you through that process. Um, so I say that's probably the biggest disadvantage. And then, but the major advantages are you owning your work entirely. And it doesn't really cost that much money to publish a book. Like you can publish a book right now with $0. Like you don't have to put no money into it. So it's very feasible versus the traditional way. A lot of those traditional publishing companies, you got to put money up front and still got to do a lot of the work on the back end, which makes no sense to me. Why I got to pay you all this money to get the book published? Now I still got to do a lot of the work on the back end when it comes to marketing as well. So it's like you might as well take that money and keep it in your pocket and just use it to market the book yourself, just different formats. And there's a lot of different ways you can go about marketing your book, which is all inside of Listen as well. I give a lot of different tips on how you can go about marketing your writings.
Okay. One final question to finish this interview. What is the best advice you could offer to anyone who is considering going the self publishing route for any books that they're writing?
Getting the book written and ready for publishing is one of the biggest workloads of the process. Publishing it, that is a cakewalk. That doesn't take long and it's not hard to do at all. It's actually the quickest process. And then marketing it on the back end. Those marketing and actually getting the book written and ready to go, those gonna be the biggest workloads. Everything else is gonna be a breeze. So it's a lot simpler than people think, but it's still gonna take work for sure. But like I said, you get to own your right. You get to own your book thoroughly, through and through, and you have all the control and freedom to do what it is, whatever you want with your book. You could write a book titled "The," and each page can have "the" in it. Just the word "the" each page, and you even saying that could be a book. Like you can do whatever you want when it comes to self-publishing. That's what I enjoy most about it. You have full creative freedom over your work. Ain't got nobody looking over your shoulder like, nah, I don't like this. You need to do this. Nah, you ain't got to worry about none of that.
Chancellor, it's been wonderful to interview you again. I thank you for appearing on the Apollo Papyrus podcast.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you for having me on again. Big shout out to you. Everybody that tuned in for the whole episode, man. Big shout out to y'all. Like I said, y'all can find me on all social media platforms. Just Google my name, Chancellor K. Jackson. Everything you need to pop up. To my aspiring authors out there, tap in with your boy. Let's turn your story into a bestseller.
This podcast episode is intended for the private listening of our audience. Any reuse or retransmission of this podcast episode without the express written consent of the podcast host is prohibited except under fair use guidelines. Royalty-free music and sound effects obtained from https://www.zapsplat.com.